Hello and welcome to our LIS 504 Final Jobs project presented by Julieta Calderon, Megan Casey, Sean Harrington, and Jill Lassen. We've titled our project Finding the Perfect Fit, Library and Information Science Jobs Today, because that is exactly what it is about. It is research on current positions of interest for us as graduate students. The first position I looked at was a digital project manager at a company called Rhythm. I've identified this as a mediating position because the digital project manager works with all the involved parties, ensuring that updated information is shared between the different team members, the separate departments, and the client. Basically, the digital project manager keeps everyone on schedule and on budget, makes sure that everyone has the appropriate feedback in order to move forward with the project. If the project looks like it's going to need adjustments, it's important that the digital project manager ensures it stays on the timeline as much as possible and within the budget, keeping track of all purchase orders, billable hours, administrative fees, and the bill schedule that is passed on to the client. Rhythm is an interesting company because it is a digital marketing agency, so it works solely in creating IT projects. The salary was not listed, but Rhythm indicated they offer what they described as comprehensive and competitive benefits that includes medical, dental, paid holidays, paid time off, and a 401k. I used a website to determine that the average pay for a digital project manager in Los Angeles, which is near Irvine, where Rhythm is located, was listed as around $71,000. I was very interested in this position because of the amount of coordination and organization that was part of it. Those are skills that I am strong in. I also appreciate digital elements, so I felt like this position fit with my current skill set, but also extended into new and exciting things. The second position that I examined was that of the data analyst or web analytics manager for a company called the Vestiaire Collective in New York City. I chose to label this position as data in motion because it's essentially about creating all different kinds of data sets, putting them into reports, and then taking them to different groups, departments, individuals. This person really is a liaison between the global analytics and business teams, but in general is responsible for gathering information and communicating that information about global trends to any necessary party. There's a big part of this job that is the ad hoc data work, and essentially what that means is that the data analyst is on call at all times to generate any kind of report, be it an analytic report or a statistical model, so that it can be put into use immediately. This person then doesn't really have a clearly stated place in the administrative structure because he or she is moving between so many different departments. The Vestiaire Collective describes itself as specializing in buying and selling pre-owned luxury fashion. They did not provide any hard details about the pay or the benefits beyond saying it is a contract position. I was able to determine that data analysts in New York make between $44,000 and $95,000 a year, with the median being $62,000. Personally, this was the least appealing position that I looked at because while I find data interesting, the nature of the position as not really fitting anywhere, kind of having to pull things out of nowhere to present them, was not very appealing. It was very focused on just working with data sets and not a lot else. And I would prefer something that, while defined, is not so boxed in as a position. The third position I located was a temporary one described as a records consultant for the Secretary of State in Olympia, Washington. This is part of a project that appears to be trying to encourage state and local government agencies to take advantage of the state archives. I labeled this position Advise, Train, and Develop because those three activities seem to be the umbrella that all the responsibilities fall under. The records consultant would need to be able to work on site to answer routine questions and manage issues, to generally perform any kind of archival duty. Also, this person would be in charge of training different members of the state and local government agencies in how to use successfully the state archives. The final element, the development, would be something that's more long-term and intended to continue the use of these state archives after the project ends. In this case, the records consultant would be developing frequently asked question pages or how-to videos so that individuals in the government agencies would be able to go to the website, locate the videos, and still be able to use the archives effectively after the records consultant position had ended. Even though this is an archival position, this individual would be answering specifically to the Secretary of State. For that reason, I was unable to say where it would technically fall within the administrative structure, whether it's part of the state archives or the Secretary of State's office, though I suspect it is the latter. There wasn't much information on benefits, but I am assuming that this would be the same situation as any state employee benefit package. The salary is listed as anywhere from $3,446 to $4,623 monthly, which would total anywhere between $41,000 and $55,000 annually. Even though the position was labeled as temporary, there was no project timeline or end date provided. I did find this job particularly appealing because I am very interested in archive work. It's something that, as I have been going along in the program, has continued to fascinate me, and I appreciate the amount of job opportunities available. It also fits in very well with what I do now as a teacher. I am very comfortable in adult education settings, developing curriculum, which would be what the frequently asked question pages and how-to videos sort of fall under. The only thing I would have against this job really would be its temporary nature. Unsure of how long you would be able to stay in this position and working. The final position I was interested in was that of the digital archivist at the Stanford Libraries. However, unintentionally, I found a way to save the best position for last, as I found this one to be the most exciting and interesting. I labeled this one Born Digital because that was the theme of the job description. This position focuses strongly around the contemporary practices and trends and the emerging technology in digital archiving. It is about creating the processes that one needs to develop digital archive repositories and to place items into those repositories. This includes processing them and making sure that they integrate with the existing systems well. The really appealing part, I think, beyond those elements was the idea of helping to define what does it mean for something to be born digital, and what does born digital curation look like. There is the opportunity with this position to collaborate and participate in very large-scale research and development projects that relate to what digital archiving looks like now and in the future. And I was very interested in being part of that. This particular position is part of the Stanford Library System Collection Services and Born Digital program, and so the hiree would answer to the head of that program. There was no indication of compensation or benefits, but I was able to determine that the average salary of an archivist, not a digital archivist, but an archivist in Stanford right now is $65,000. This position really seems to be everything that I'm looking for right now. I'm interested in the archiving process and how it's changing due to technology. I'm interested in technology in general and how it affects our world and what we do, how we do it, why we even do it. And I'm looking for something that is growing, and things in the born digital field really are doing nothing but growing. So this is something that would be ideal for me, and I hope that I would be able to explore. My plan right now is to exit the program in May of 2019 with a master's in library and information sciences, as well as certificates in archival studies and digital information. And my goal would be to find a position exactly like this. So I am very hopeful that when I do leave school, this would be a position that I would be able to earn. We'd like to thank you for watching our presentation and for the opportunity to examine these different positions in detail. We hope that you enjoyed our information.